Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I'm joined by the one, the only, the living legend himself, Sebastian Garcia. Seba, how are you?
Hello, I'm Campeón de América, obviously. Champion
Yes.
of the Copa America, of course. Very excited ahead of this triple round of fixtures that we have. This is quite unique. So I'm very excited to get this week started with this preview video together with you. It's always a pleasure sharing this space with you and with all the viewers from everywhere.
Yes. Likewise. And talking about everywhere, we have Nepal. We have Rihan
Hey,
from Nepal. We have Good afternoon from Australia. So I mean, I'm
nice.
in Canada right now. You're in Argentina, Nepal, Australia. That's already four countries right there. It really is Mundo Albiceleste. It really is the entire
Fantastic.
world. It
Fantastic.
really is the entire world. And here we go. We have one from Texas. Tom.
Yeah,
Tom
nice.
from Texas. Good evening.
Howdy,
Good evening.
howdy.
And yes, and Tom had a question as well regarding the registration on the website on mundoalbiceleste.com. It will open up on Thursday. So we'll be back up on Thursday. We had to close it for some technical stuff, but it will be open on Thursday. Seba, you mentioned earlier, it's a very unique triple header, three matches. I think this is the first time we ever get three matches like this.
Yeah, I think so. I was thinking because I'm old, maybe you don't remember, but this format has been going on since I believe it was in the build up
2002.
for. I believe it was in the build up for
I
Japan
think it
and
was Korea.
Korea
Yeah.
2002, or maybe France, maybe the France World Cup. But before that, um, the South American qualifiers used to be played in 1 month. It was do or die. There were a couple of groups, and you have to play everybody there. And I prefer this format, even though it's longer. And the previous one was more action based and it was more frantic. But let's say you had your main player injured for a month, and then he will miss the entire qualifier. So this makes it fairer. This makes it a bit even keeled, and I think it's fair because every team get to play at home and away against everybody, whereas the other format it was different. It was not like this. So
Yeah.
under the current format, I think it's the first time we have three fixtures. Maybe you can remind everybody why this is happening, and obviously it's due to the pandemic,
Yes.
but
Yes, absolutely. So initially so the matches were supposed to happen back in March, and then that kind of got postponed, that got pushed forward, and then we only got the two matches in June, right? Well, for Argentina, it was Chile and Colombia. So the matches, if I'm not mistaken, the matches in November, where Argentina played Brazil and Uruguay, that one was supposed to be held back in March of this year, if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken. Then obviously last year there was the
Yeah, and
postponement.
now they have broken down that round of fixtures, and so they kept the original one. We have to play Venezuela, Bolivia, and they sandwich those with the Brazil fixture, Brazil away on Sunday, and then um, to face Uruguay, it will be sandwiched between the other two rounds further down the road. I don't remember exactly when it will happen, but it will be this year, in a couple of
Yeah,
months maybe. But yeah, that is interesting. It makes it interesting because the preparation is different. You have three games in a week. It's more exciting for us fans,
of
journalists,
course.
whatever. But for I believe for managers, players, it could be tricky. It could be difficult to manage. The level of energy, the squad size, the starting 11, the formation that you use. There's obviously there's a lot of trouble involved. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be nice to see how um, Scaloni will manage his team for this triple round of fixtures. And the rest of the teams have the same issue. So it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah, I guess the good part about it, if there is a good part about it, I mean, us fans, I guess it is good. It's at least for the players that it's at the start of the season. It's not towards the end of the season where they're, very tired. But if you're Copa America champions like Argentina, you did not have much time off. They really
Absolutely.
didn't. They had about 1 month.
Absolutely. And you have to consider also, he's been really, really busy. Maybe we can touch base a little bit on that
Yes.
because it was a summer of transfers that was huge. I mean, it goes without saying, right? It's a summer in which both Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo changed the clubs where they play, but not only them. We had a lot of players changing the clubs, uh, tr- getting transferred from one club to the other, and a lot of them play for the national team. A lot of them were in the Copa America. A lot of them were in action early on in this season. So maybe we can review a little bit, ask around about,
Yes.
ask our audience about what was the most surprising transfer. I'm guessing Messi will
Messi
top the
aside,
list. Yeah,
let's
Messi
put
aside.
Messi
Yeah,
aside.
yeah, yeah. But I think that's a factor to consider because it's gonna be um, those kind of things, those negotiations, those travels, those contract signings, and all the press activities that they have to do, meeting new teammates, and then having to travel overseas. It takes a toll on players, and mentally, it's very very draining, and um, that will be another focus that I will put in some of the players that we're seeing that are traveling to Argentina, playing or traveling to South America to play in Venezuela, then Brazil, then in Argentina, but maybe some of them are playing for a different team than when they represented Argentina just a month ago or a couple of months ago in the Copa America. So that is another curious aspect that I wanted to mention because it is key. Even though it's the early start of the season, it is a particular one, and it's been very chaotic for a lot of them.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, a lot of it, I guess, long term could be very beneficial. For example, someone that got transferred, someone that I know you love and everyone loves, but specifically you, Rodrigo De Paul, to Atletico, having him play alongside Angel Correa, right? That could help out the national team. You had a lot. Christian Romero to Tottenham.
Yeah,
That's another big one. Joaquin Correa with Lautaro Martinez, another one of one of the boys that you
yeah,
like.
yeah.
So we got a lot of transfers. We got a lot of transfers. Going through you obviously said, but you just asked a question in the chat. We had a couple. So Tom Mon writes transfers. I think will help us. Joaquin Correa had an amazing start, and so did Molina.
Hmm.
Very true as well. I mean, Correa was it 2 goals coming
Yeah,
on as a
2 goals
substitute
coming off the bench. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for
Great.
for
That's
yeah,
for Inter. That's a fantastic introduction. And Lautaro scored in the same game, so three
yes,
goals from the pair, from the two of them. Speaking of Molina, he had a fantastic start with Udinese this
Udinese.
season. But talking about another player who plays in the same position, and they share part of the action in the Copa America, but Montiel got selected ahead of Molina for the final and had an amazing final. He just moved not only to a different club but to a different continent. So you have to think about those things that could affect the players, at least mentally,
Of course.
psychologically. It could be a lot to absorb in so little time. But the good news is that he's joining a team where he will have Acuna playing opposite. He will have Papu Gomez playing ahead of him. There's also Campos, who used to be in the national team, but it's good for them to be in an environment where they play together, they are together, and that maybe we can talk a little bit about other
Yes.
players getting transferred. But then I wanted to talk also about the mood around the national team, the sense of belonging. This is probably the one aspect that I value the most. Even if you put me if you ask me in a hurry and you put me against the wall, I can tell you, I will probably tell you that I will put the team spirit and the sense of belonging just on par with the Copa America title, and I don't know if I wouldn't even put it a little ahead of it, even on top of the title. Of course, for a team like us, for a national team like us, with a long waiting period of 20 something years,
28.
28 years, to win a title was paramount. But then, you know, to do it with such team spirit, such a performance, such a sense of belonging, and such a commitment from all the players. That is something fantastic to see, and I would like to talk a little bit about it, and ask around,
Yes.
see how you guys think, what you guys think about it, if you see it the same way I do.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. I won't say I'm fairly active on Instagram, but I see the pictures and I see the comments. And to see Messi, who's someone that's always been kind of reserved, maybe more reserved, just to see him after the Copa America posting pictures, commenting on I think it was Otamendi's picture and others, and Emiliano Martinez, Ivo Martinez. You feel it, and maybe a lot of it is because a lot of these guys are roughly the same age and broke into the national team at the same time, so they're fresh. They share the same interests. But it was clear to see during the Copa, and now it's more clear now more than ever how
Yeah,
close these guys are.
some of them went on holidays together. They were they
Yes,
were they were together for 2 months, maybe playing the World Cup qualifiers, then the Copa America, and then they had a break to be with their families or to be alone or to do whatever. They went
yes,
together on holiday. They arranged holidays together, and now they couldn't wait to come back. And getting a bit serious about what happened and about the business around international football. These
yes,
guys, they stood up against the Premier League, against La Liga, against Serie A. They said, I don't care if you're gonna find me. I don't care if you're gonna sit me on the bench. I don't care at all about what you say that I have to do. I'm getting on. I'm getting that plane back to South America. I want to play with my boys. I want to play for my country. I want to be there, be part of it, because they are enjoying it. And you
yeah,
couldn't say the same about all the other nations around us, because the minute the Premier League said we're not releasing the players, they all obey. They all stood there. Ben Brereton Diaz is not joining the Chile team. All of the
Brazil.
Brazilian players in the Premier League are not part of the team. They had to be replaced with local league players. Cavani was removed
Cavani
from the
for
list.
Uruguay.
Yeah. So, I think that speaks volume about how the players want to be part of it, how they are going to, you know, do whatever it takes to play for Argentina. So
Yeah, I
it's a,
mean,
yeah, it's courage, determination. You
yeah,
can call it, yeah, you can call it whatever you want, but
yes,
obviously it's a sense of belonging. Um, the national team be part of the national team used to be a burden for a lot of players, especially Messi. Used to be toxic environment under different managers, with the AFA being a complete mess. It's not like the AFA is doing any better these days, but
no.
at least when it comes to the national team, it's like a bubble, and they feel happy about life. They feel happy to be there, and they want to be there.
It's you just feel just from the pictures. I mean, you said it a couple of moments ago. You said a lot of these guys went on holiday together. They went on vacation. Imagine spending 45 days together, winning the Copa America, saying, no, that's not enough. You bring your wives or you bring your girlfriend or your children, and you say, you know what, we're going to go to wherever it was, Ibiza, or a couple of them actually
Yeah,
went to Florida or to Miami. Let's just go there. And
yeah.
you don't really see that often, to be honest.
No,
You really,
no,
really don't. And talking
no.
about the Premier League, it was right after Aston Villa's match. Divo Martinez just puts up a post on his social media saying something like, oh, good match, this and that. Next up, and then he puts the Argentina flag, and I read that and I said, "What?
Yeah.
Okay."
I couldn't see
So
him. I couldn't see any gestures from him, but I could imagine the gestures that he was.
that one,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
As he was posting, I imagine him tweeting and saying and going like, yeah, like this. But
yeah.
let's not go there. But
Let's know.
absolutely, it's fantastic to see
Yeah,
that, and I feel very glad and very happy, especially for Messi, because he had to go through it all. He had to, you know, he had to, 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 stand criticism from people in Argentina saying, "Oh, you're from Spain. You don't sing the anthem. We don't like you. You're not like Maradona. You don't care about Argentina. You don't want to play here. You don't win trophies." But over and over and over, he kept coming and going for it, and he kept going harder and harder and harder until he managed to put his hands on a piece of silverware, and he did it together with his group. So that's what it means.
Yeah.
That's what it means for him, and for the rest, they can tell their grandkids
Of
in
course.
many years from now. I was part of the team that managed to provide a trophy, win a trophy together with Messi for Argentina. Hopefully, it's not the last one. So I don't want to get too
No,
uh,
no,
the
hopefully not.
carried.
Hopefully not. But you mentioned something about providing, right?
Yeah,
Providing the trophy.
yeah.
And I'm gonna bring someone. Here's a picture, and the person in the middle helped provide the assist or provided the assist for the winning goal. And
Oh my
I,
God. Yeah.
Seba, you're laughing. I know why you're laughing. Maybe those watching us live probably have no idea why Seba's laughing. We're gonna actually get
Oh.
to it right now. So
Yeah.
this is
No,
a
let's go.
picture.
Let's take it slowly. So we see
Yes.
here Nicolas Otamendi on the left, Rodrigo De Paul in the middle, Alejandro Papu Gomez on the right. This is
Yeah.
a picture from Rodrigo De Paul's Instagram account when um, he announced that they were traveling together to come to South America for these games. But the beauty of it, you look at them, it looks like they're going on holidays. They're so happy about it. They are going against the will of their own clubs and the leagues where those clubs are participating in.
Yeah.
And then we can start slowly talking about the little details in the pictures.
Yes.
Maybe
Let
we
me.
can. We have some
Well,
zoom out. Yeah, he's coming. He's coming.
so there's
So
this one of Papu Gomez, right? This is what we're looking at here. And then the Papu Gomez one,
yeah,
Seba.
look at it.
Okay, so the
So
left
basically, yeah,
is Homer Simpson. The right, Seba, you can take this.
yeah. In the middle, you see the hand of God moment. That's Peter Shilton crying behind Diego Maradona, and then a map of Argentina with the flag. So for a character like him, I would think this is very sober. This is a very sober effort in its bag, his main luggage. But let's let's go to where the action is, and the action is on
Yeah.
the left. I mean, we have to appreciate the effort. There's Diego there. Diego is always present, and he's always there.
So
He's like a
let
talisman. So
let me
go
see if
with
I could zoom in on this.
yeah.
Does it let me? You guys
You have
can't
the
see. No, I
previous.
won't.
I sent you the previous. I think before I sent you this one, I sent you the one which is already zoomed out, zoom in.
Did you
The
on for
yeah,
Otamendi? I didn't
yeah.
receive anything.
I sent it on WhatsApp on
Oh no,
the.
I got it. I got it. I got
Yeah,
it.
you got it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry, guys. Some technical difficulties here. Let's.
No
We are
problem.
live. We are live. And actually, Seba, yeah, Seba sent me these right
Yeah,
before, right
yeah,
before we went live.
just before going live, because I said, yeah, I'm laughing at one of the comments from George Leiva. Is the ball wearing a diaper? Yeah, it looks like, yeah, Uh, I'm not in a position to comment on fashion because I'm not an authorized voice. I never dress very well. You have to go with the,
Okay.
yeah. I have to give the Paul the benefit of the doubt. I'm pretty sure he's well dressed compared to me.
All right.
So there you go. See Otamendi's bag is it's an assortment of different stickers. I wanted to point out because obviously social media they're very fast to scrutinize and analyze every little detail of every single photo. Let's start with this obvious one. It's the one that it's zoom out, zoom in, and it says 9/12 Eterno, which means the eternal 9th of December. This is a particular um, happy moment for River Plate fans because it remembers the day that River beat Boca Juniors in the Copa Libertadores final that had to be played in Madrid. But Otamendi never played for River. He came through their youth ranks at Vélez Sarsfield, had a sensational start to his career, and then he went to Europe, played a little bit in Brazil, but he never played for River. But he is a River Plate fan, and the fact that he has a sticker of this moment in his bag, it's something that became a little bit of a conversation topic. But he also has a sticker of Bielsa. He had a Bielsa as a manager in the past in his career. He has a Duff beer from The Simpsons. He has Michael Jordan, Tommy Shelby, Indio Solari, who's a rock star from a very popular band which I love from Argentina. He has a sticker of Diego Maradona, a couple of them.
Yeah.
The PlayStation controller. I mean, he's all over the place. But I mean, he's a Copa America champion. Who can tell anything?
He can do what he wants.
Yeah, he can do what he wants. He beat Brazil in Brazil,
Yeah, at the Maracanã, not just anywhere, at the Maracanã. At the Maracanã. But he's. I'm gonna go back to this comment.
Yeah.
Make me laugh. Otamendi looks like he's going fishing with his hat.
Yeah. You know, this was not an attempt to divert from football.
No.
From tactics or formation, but it's just to show you guys how important it is to see these players having such great team spirit, such great commitment. I mean, they are giving the middle finger to the most powerful leagues in the world and some of the most powerful clubs in the world, and they're saying, I'm off to play with my country. I'm sorry, but you have to release me, or I don't care about the consequences. So I wanted to start with these in particular because this is something quite unique that you didn't see in the past. They used to come here with a bit of a frown, with a heavy burden on their shoulders. That is all off. That is all out of the picture. And now it's time for them to enjoy. They have to enjoy the rest of the World Cup qualifiers. It doesn't have to be suffering along the way. It doesn't have to. So I wanted to bring that up and show you a little bit of the funny side of things. But the team spirit it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's there, and a lot of these guys. If you really think of it, I'll just stick to the Premier League because there's 4 Argentines in the Premier League. I think La Liga there's about 9, so I'll stick to the Premier League. If you really think about it, Christian Romero's at a new club. Emiliano Buendia's at a new club. Emiliano Martinez, he's probably the only one I would say his spot is kind of secured.
Second season. It's
the second season.
Like he's been there forever. Yeah.
No, Lo Celso's in and out of the starting 11, in and out of the squad. So these guys are just saying, I don't care. I'm going to risk this. I'm going to go play with my national team, and you do what you have to do. I'm going to go. And like you said, it's not something that we saw before in previous generations, where you had, probably won't have to go into details, but previous generations where you had a player or certain players sometimes even chanting something against the national team. So you don't really see that anymore. And then there was an interview with Di Maria that came out today. It's on the Mundo Albiceleste website, where he said something along the lines of, look, I was playing very well with PSG. I deserved a spot. I went public. I said I want to be on the team. Scaloni called me and we spoke about it. So this is someone, and this is a team that consists of people like Di Maria, people like Martinez, like Buendia, and the rest that want to be there, that want to win something. And we're going to talk about this in a couple of days when we get to the match versus Bolivia. But that match against Bolivia with fans in attendance, that is one match I really want to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be... It's only 5 blocks from where I live. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to get tickets. Yeah, I don't know about it. But I used to go to every single Argentina national World Cup qualifier. I was joking the other day with a couple of friends. I said, hey, you have no business going to this Argentina Bolivia now to see the Copa America champions, because you were not there when we lost 2-0 to Ecuador, freezing. It was
Yeah.
freezing. I was in the upper tier in the Monumental
2015 or
Stadium.
2006,
It
2015 or
was,
16?
I don't know the years, but it was Martino in
It was
charge. It was the first game of the World Cup
2015.
qualifiers. Yeah, and it
2015.
was bad. That was really bad.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
awful, awful,
Uh,
awful performance, and the weather, everything about it was terrible. But I've been there so many times, and if this was full allocation, I would have been pretty sure that I was gonna get a ticket for it. I'm not sure about it now, but I'll hope. I hope I can go. Um,
hopefully.
but yeah. And talking about what our players did, I mean, this is not a place to talk about other national teams in depth. Obviously, they share the same World Cup qualifier table with us, the same
Yes.
competition. They are rivals, and we have to talk a little bit about them sometimes. But this is not to criticize Brazil or anything like that. But none of the Brazil players that are in the Premier League were on a plane to South America. So
No.
yeah, I wanted to point that out, not as a detriment to Brazil, but
No.
to put things into perspective and to say, okay, these guys won the Copa America. You would think they will have a bit of a license to say, hey, taking it easy, we can stay here for this round of qualifiers. No, they wanted to come here anyway. And Brazil, you would think they will like a bit of a revenge opportunity because they're playing us and they're playing at home again with fans in the
Mhm.
stands, but none of them boarded a plane. So
We're-
that gives me a little bit more of pride in our
of
players.
course. I have the list of names we had it in the chat. And before we get to it, I just want to say a big happy birthday to Master Azor. He says it's his
Nice.
birthday today. Thank you. Loves the content. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Feliz cumpleaños.
And
Feliz cumpleaños in Spanish. Cheers to you.
hopefully, yes. Joyeux anniversaire. That's in French. So happy birthday. Hopefully. I mean, I think we all know what your wish is. You kind of mentioned it, and I think we know what your wish is for the next 24 hours.
Well,
So,
Master,
so
you have 3 wishes, and we have three upcoming games.
yes, there
I
you
let
go.
you, yeah, I let you skip one of the games and use one for 2022, maybe. Yeah, but
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
uh,
And going back really quickly, for Brazil, I have the names here. So Brazil
yeah,
will be without Alisson, Ederson, Thiago Silva, Fabinho, Fred, Gabriel Jesus, Richarlison, Firmino, and Rafinha. And that's only the Premier League.
I tell you what,
That's
those
like
guys walk into the starting 11 of any national team,
we
any
have
national team.
two world-class goalkeepers
Yeah,
alone.
yeah,
So
and they will still Brazil will still present a very powerful lineup.
of course,
Obviously, they're Brazil, but this is significant. You have to recognize what is going on. It's significant.
the importance of it, and I know maybe a couple of people watching us might say, okay, well, they're talking about this maybe a little bit too long. Let's get to the match versus Venezuela, and trust me, we will. We're going to get to it. But it's exactly like you said. It's the importance of it. It's the significance of it, because this was not always the case. Previously a player maybe wasn't 100% and just said, yeah, well, it's okay. I don't want to go anyways, and get criticized. Right? Let's
Mhm.
not forget, this is a team that up until maybe 3 years ago was not talking to the media. They spent 2 or 3 years not talking to the media. Then Messi had, and this is something where I think we really started to see the shift in the squad, the shift in the change was, in my opinion, the match against Brazil in 2019 when Messi came out, defended his teammates, defended the team, because he was and is the undisputed leader, right?
Yeah,
People before they say, oh well, Mascherano was there, Messi was the captain, but Mascherano was there, maybe. But I don't recall back then having seen Messi like that. And for him to come out for this team, for this group of players, and say what he said, and ultimately he
yeah,
did get punished. He got suspended for 1 or 2 games, and he missed that
yeah.
Bolivia. Uh, that means a lot, and I think that's when things started to slowly slowly change because this generation grew up watching Messi. I mean, if you look at Julian Alvarez, he was born, or he started playing football, and Messi was already declared as the best player in the world. So, and you have the likes of Lautaro Martinez and the rest, but it's a different team. The commitment is there, which was not always the case before.
Absolutely. And Messi really went for it. He said, it doesn't matter how hard we try. This is fixed for Brazil to win. Everybody sees it. We were robbed. It wasn't just saying, "Hey, we should have won." Blah blah. He was throwing darts everywhere. But then, yeah, something clicked. I think Scaloni. Now we can start talking about the games and the tactics and everything. I think Scaloni, the main thing that he got right was building up this team spirit, and then really commit to this renewal of the national team, because we needed this transition of players. We needed some young players to be trusted with the starting role. There's so many names to bring to the table, but I will mention a couple, which are Leandro Paredes, Rodrigo De Paul, Lautaro Martinez. He stick to those guys, and then later on, more recently in the Copa America, Romero, Acuna, obviously Messi. I'm not mentioning him, but it's important. It's important because the transition was there. The renewal of the national team that we were all waiting for finally happened, because in 2018 it didn't happen under Sampaoli, and a couple of players that he brought were not really up to the standard. He was just calling up whoever was playing for Boca or River to please the national media or the establishment in Argentine football. But having players like Pavon, Mesa, you are never gonna go places.
You're not going to go far.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a proper renewal, and we already saw it in some results and performances.
All
right, people want to know about how we're gonna be playing, whether there's a starting 11 or not.
So let's get to the players that have been called up. We'll go through the names quickly, and then we can discuss about what's being rumored, what's likely going to be the starting 11. Let me just put this full screen. There you go. So if we look at the goalkeeper, so it's a very, very similar team to the one that won the Copa, right? Goalkeepers are all there. I mean, Emiliano Martinez, Franco Armani, Juan Musso, and Geronimo. Geronimo is really the big, the only reason he's there, I think anyways, is because Marchesín is out injured. He had his surgery. Defenders: Montiel, Molina, Pesela, Foyth, Romero, Otamendi, Martinez Cuarta, Licha Martinez, Acuna, and Tagliafico. So it's the same thing except for Foyth.
Yeah, it's important to see him back. Yeah, Scaloni was really criticized because he caught Foyth just ahead of the Copa America, and they were thinking it was a bit ruthless from him, or that he got Foyth really exposed, or singled out as a culprit for a couple of mistakes. So it's important to see him being returned to the squad, even if he doesn't see any minutes in the next few matches. It's important as a reassurance from the manager to the player to say, hey, you're still in my plans. I had to cut you because I had a limited number of players to bring to the Copa America, but you're pretty much part of the plan, and you can still play a part in the national team. So this is a nice gesture, I think.
It is, and he's still young. We spoke about this at the start of the Copa America when he got cut. We said he's still young. He's going to learn and everything, and it's very good to have him back. It's very good. He'll, it's a group of players that he does know. It's not like everyone is new to him. Midfield is the exact same that we had at the Copa America. De Paul, Palacios, Paredes, Guido, Nicolas Dominguez, Lo Celso, and Papu Gomez. And up front, we got some changes. Di Maria, Correa, Julian Alvarez, Joaquin Correa, Nicolas Gonzalez, Emiliano Buendia, Lionel Messi, Paulo Dybala. Obviously, one of the names that is missing that should have been there. Roberto Ayala actually confirmed it. He said Mauro Icardi, should have been called up and was going to be called up, but shoulder injury made it
And
so that he
also,
misses out.
Lucas Alario is also
Yeah.
injured. I think Lucas Alario was going to be called up. He was pretty much in the picture for Copa America, but he couldn't make it,
Mhm.
down to injury as well. So,
And,
of
and
the players
Agüero.
that are, and Agüero, of course, is injured for a couple more weeks or a few more weeks.
Yeah.
So a pretty strong team. Obviously, the Copa America champions in essence, plus Dybala, plus Foyt,
And Buendia.
minus anybody, plus Buendia.
No, I mean, Mascherano is out, obviously, because of
Right.
injury. I think he's the only one from the Copa America that is missing. Other than that, we got Buendia and Dybala that are in, and Foyth, obviously, in the attacking
Yeah,
sense.
buen día to you too. Buenas noches as well. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, I had to.
It's okay. I
I
was
couldn't
waiting
help
for you to eventually do
it.
that. But it's, I'm still on that high of, yes, we won the Copa
Yeah.
and everything, and they're gonna continue building up. It's the qualifiers. One person I'm very much looking forward to seeing is Dybala, and if he gets a chance versus Venezuela or not.
Hopefully he can, you know, feed from the fact that the rest of the team are going to be more relaxed, are going to be more, you know, owning this favorite tag that we always have. But we used to be the favorites, but maybe we were not too convinced about it.
Yeah,
Maybe against some teams, yeah, but then against some others, not as much. I think, and I'm really optimistic, but I'm also curious and anxious to see if we're gonna get to see an Argentina team play more relaxed, more, when
more
you're when
attacking,
you, yeah, more attacking, but not necessarily attacking, but more relaxed, not so much under
more.
pressure, and maybe the game will flow, maybe the beautiful game will be there more often than not, because sometimes a team will have to win ugly. At times, you have to win on the fighting spirit, on the going for every tackle. But maybe now you can. I'm not saying you should relax on tackling or try
Yeah,
to win
yeah,
the ball back, but you know what I mean. It's the notion that you are capable of winning against anybody in the region and anywhere you visit. So you took off the big monkey off your back, and now you're ready to play maybe some more attractive football, and maybe that's what Dybala needs, to play in a more relaxed environment, enjoy a little bit. He's used to be playing for Juventus, where he's favorite to win every game, and he thrives on it. So it's a good opportunity. If he gets to play, it's going to be a good opportunity for him to try and cement his place in the national team, because obviously nobody can doubt his quality, but he hasn't yet brought it for in the international stage for Argentina.
yeah. I think something that you mentioned, and I'm just going to add to it. I think the fact that this team won obviously helps immensely, but I hope what Dybala realizes, because in the past, what I've seen, or maybe not what I've seen, but what I've felt from Dybala when playing with Argentina is, I think he believes that either he has to be like Messi or he's the one that has to lead the attack and do the assists and do the scoring, and that's not the case. Yes, we could argue this, we could say this to a certain degree. This is Lionel Messi's Argentina squad. Fine, I'm not going to argue that. But if you look, not everything comes through Messi. And
No.
I think as soon as Dybala realizes that when he's on the pitch, not everything has to go through him. And like you said, hopefully if the players are more relaxed, he gets more relaxed. And I think we get to see a better version of Dybala than maybe what we've seen in the past from him.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk about Venezuela. Are there any questions
Yes.
or some comments that we can start
Yes.
reading?
Anything, guys? Send over your questions, your comments. As you guys say that, or as you guys are writing up your questions, your comments. I don't know if you knew this, Seba. Maybe you did. Maybe you read it earlier. I don't know if anyone in the chat. The last time we played Venezuela in a World Cup qualifier, we drew
Hmm.
the 2-2. I think it was Otamendi and someone else scored. I can't quite remember. And the one before that, I'm talking about in Caracas in Venezuela.
Okay,
So it was a
okay, okay.
2-2 draw. And then the qualifiers before that with Savella, it was a 1-0 defeat.
Amorebieta,
So,
I think he scored for
yeah,
Venezuela. Yeah.
exactly. So we
Well,
haven't beaten Venezuela in 2 cycles now. This will be the third.
yeah, not gonna happen on Thursday.
Yeah.
Maybe I may be a victim of my own words, but uh, to me this is a win. Um, yeah, I never do this. You know me so well.
I
I'm
know, I know.
superstitious. I'm superstitious, but I don't see any other result but a win on tomorrow. You're free to throw anything
Well,
at me if it doesn't happen, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I see Argentina
yeah,
as big favorites. Riding on, especially because we're riding on this wave. Obviously, Venezuela at home, they're improving every.
every
It's not
cycle.
the same. It's not the same team every 4 years. It's a
No,
more. It's a very much improved team, and they have players of big quality. Um, but not tomorrow. No, I
no,
don't see. I
no.
don't see it happening tomorrow. Yeah.
I agree. We'll give our actually. We'll ask everyone. Actually, let's do that now. We'll ask you guys, everybody in the chat. Do you guys agree with Seba? Do you think Argentina get the 3 points tomorrow, or are you guys slightly more superstitious than Seba, where you just say no, this is not the match? I'll agree. I think we get the win. I'll be surprised. No disrespect to Venezuela, but I think, like you said, the fact that I think this team's still riding the high, and they are a very, very good team. I think they have it in them to get the win versus Venezuela. Uh, as opposed to when the team faced him under Sabella, that was still relatively new. It was a new squad. Against Venezuela, the 2-2 draw. I can't even remember. I think was it Bausa? I think the coach, or maybe Tata Martino. I can't even remember.
Maybe. I'm
And that
thinking of
was
one,
a
but I think it was Colombia. It was a different game. Yeah, I'm not very for things that happened in the last few years. Not so much. I remember stuff
more
from
the
the past.
older
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
More the older
I'm
stuff.
old. I'm old.
It's okay.
Hey, Roman.
Roman.
Yeah, bring it, brother. Yeah.
Yes, Roman says yes. Amit says, I'm hoping for a Messi hat trick. So regarding Messi, obviously Cristiano Ronaldo made the news today. He broke the
I was
the male's
watching.
international
I was
goal
watching.
scoring. But if Messi scores, he could, and if Messi gets a hat trick, he could. Well, he would break a South American record. He would break Pele's record of
Oh,
most goals scored by a South American.
I didn't know
Uh,
this. Huh.
Yes, that's why people were very superstitious, and they said if Messi gets that goal versus Brazil in the Copa America final, he would break Pele's record, and they made a whole story out of it. Fortunately we won. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. That's okay. It's secondary, but this could happen again. Uh, if he does score, he breaks the record. I hope he does. I really hope he does. He has 4 goals. So Messi has 4 goals versus Venezuela. 3 of them have been in World Cup qualifiers. Lionel Messi's first ever goal in a World Cup qualifier was against Venezuela. It was the 2-0 win back in 2007. Gabriel Milito, I think, got the first goal, and Messi got the
Yeah,
second.
I remember that. Yeah, in
Yeah,
Venezuela. Hmm.
yeah.
Um,
So
I have 2 kids. I have 2 sons. Felipe, he's 11. Manuel, he's 6. And then I also have a day job, so I have to go with you. I have to ask you because this is the juiciest part of the preview of the Venezuela game.
yes,
What is going to be the starting 11? Are we going to see a uh, mixed team? Thinking about the trip to Brazil, the Sunday game, not a lot of rest in between. Are we going to see all the big guns or bit of a second string?
I think no. I think we get the big guns. I think
Mm.
we get the big guns. Not for the 90 minutes. I think we get the big guns. Get a goal in the first half, or possibly, or hopefully 2. Hopefully 2, and then I think we would see the changes in the second half. I don't expect them to go all out for 90 minutes because you predicted it. I predicted it. I think we do end up winning. Because it's the first match, and forget the fact that they just won the Copa America, because it's the first match, and Scaloni really, emphasized it today in his press conference. He said, we can't look beyond Venezuela right now. We have to get this first win. I think obviously he knows it, and I echo his sentiment. So I think we get a very, very similar 11 to the one that won the Copa America versus Brazil in the final. But I think we get changes, and very, very early changes in the second half.
Yeah, you know
That's
what
my
I
guess.
think? Yeah, it's a very, very good point. I think I would agree, and also agree with the fact that these 3 points are worth as much as the 3 points in Brazil. Obviously, there's a psychological factor, and
Of course.
it's a classico, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's 3 points at the same. It's the same 3 points. But you know what I'm thinking, and maybe I'm getting ahead of the game here, but I'm thinking even if it's a 3 games
Mhm.
round, I'm thinking this will be pretty much focused on the first two, on Venezuela and
Yes.
Brazil away, and then depending on results and depending on how you end up in terms of tiredness, injuries, whatever, then on Thursday maybe they will start releasing the players to go back to Europe, try and not burn all the bridges with the leagues and the clubs,
Yes.
and play maybe a big string team against Bolivia at home, which is a game, no disrespect, it's a game you should win it with the second string team, and maybe that would be.
Yes.
I mean, that would be my strategy. Yeah, if you ask me,
That's
go all out against Venezuela and Brazil, and save some legs and energy, and play a second string against Bolivia.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna get. I think that's what we're gonna get. I think in the first match, I'm not. I don't want to, like you. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I think we get a very similar starting 11 versus Venezuela and against Brazil. I think we get very similar 11. I think the only differences will be the fullbacks,
Mhm.
and maybe Paredes for Guido Rodriguez, because well, we can't forget Paredes and Christian Romero are suspended for the match against Venezuela. So
Mhm.
we're not going to see Romero. We're not going to see Paredes. I think we get, for example, Nicolas Tagliafico and Pesela in the back line versus Venezuela, and then I think we get Acuna and Romero versus Brazil. The
It's a good
fullback,
call.
yeah, maybe Molina versus Venezuela, and Montiel, obviously because he played incredible versus Brazil. I think he gets to play again in the
So
second match.
and then I'm guessing from what you're saying that Guido instead of Paredes for the
But it
first game.
is
Yeah,
for the first game, yeah.
yeah, nice.
I I
Um,
think that's what I think. I think we get Emiliano Martinez, then we get Tagliafico, Otamendi, Pasella, Molina, Guido, and then De Paul. And then I'm not sure if we get Lo Celso or Nicolas Gonzalez. I don't know.
mhm,
That's
mhm.
the one question mark for me. And then up front, I think we get Messi, Lautaro, and probably Di Maria. But do you start Di Maria both matches, or do you rest him for Venezuela and start him against Brazil?
Maybe they want to go with a bit of a fresh impact sub role for Di Maria in
Yeah.
Venezuela, and maybe start him in Brazil. Well, there's a lot. Obviously, we don't have the crystal ball. We're just
No.
guessing as much as you guys are doing. Maybe we're saying what we would do in Scaloni's position. There's a lot of questions in the comments that I'm, seeing from the
Yes.
corner of my eye. A lot of you guys asking about Messi, whether he will play or not. I guarantee Messi doesn't like to be on the bench. If he takes the plane, and if Scaloni wants to sit him, he's not going to be happy. Not even Venezuela
No.
fans are going to be happy if he doesn't play.
Oh, they want to see him.
It could be a paradox, but or ironic, but the the home fans when Argentina is visiting, they want to see Messi, even if it, it means that Argentina will have a better chance of beating them. They want to see Messi. Who wouldn't?
Of
It's the
course.
same that happens. It will happen in every stadium in France now. Like the Reims fans.
That
All of a
that
sudden
already
had
started.
Messi. All of a sudden had Messi there making his debut in France.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenon. It's those kind of players that you always want to see. Obviously.
Yeah. No, Messi will. barring an injury, I'm knocking on wood right now, but Messi's playing all 3 matches.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure about that.
What
Seba,
are
what do you think we
the
get as the 11?
um yeah, I think I agree with you. Then there's always this doubt about Montiel or Molina. Maybe those are the things that the manager gets to see on the training ground and says, okay, I see that you're a bit better physically, you're sharper, whatever. And that depends a lot
Mhm.
on the manager at, at that moment. And then yeah, I think he'll stick with De Paul, Lautaro, the ones that I mentioned before. If they're fit to go, I think Scaloni wants to give them the
Some
experience, the
rhythm.
games under
Yeah.
their belt, and we benefit from it. In my opinion, we're very, very lucky to have them. Messi, of course. Then the ones that you mentioned that are suspended, of course, are not going to be taking part. So I think it's a good call. Pesela, Tagliafico. Yeah, I think the team pretty much looks pretty clear. And I'm pretty sure that you all feel the same, but I don't want to be too be trapped in the anticipation mood, but I just want to get to Sunday. I want to I want it to be Sunday like in 10 minutes. I want to play in Brazil again. Yeah.
It's
Thinking
we
more
got to
about
get through this one
the
first.
yeah, yeah, but I'm thinking about the starting 11 for Brazil, That's a good thing that I'm not a manager for Argentina because
No.
I'll be making I'll be making all sorts of decisions.
It's well, this is why we do this. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
And everybody, leave your comments. What do you guys think will be the starting 11 versus Venezuela, or rather, what would you put out as the starting 11 versus Venezuela? Put it up in the chat. We'll bring it up on screen. As you guys do that, actually, BRM asks, "I'm curious about Dybala. How will Scaloni use him in the team for these 3 matches?" He's that question about Dybala keeps popping up, every chat and every discussion on Twitter and everything. I don't think he's in the starting 11 for any of the 3 matches. I
Maybe
think
Bolivia. Yeah, maybe Bolivia. We'll see.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe, maybe. If he does have a chance, it would be that one. I don't think it would
Mhm.
be versus Brazil or Venezuela. But I could see him more as a sub, and I think Scaloni gives him the chance, or I hope Scaloni gives him the chance because I want to see what he can do. It's
Yeah.
been 2 years since we've seen him in an Argentina shirt. I want to see what we can do. He looked sharp for Juventus in their first match versus Udinese, if I'm not mistaken, in the
Mhm.
2-2 draw. So
Yeah, and it's gonna
I'm
be
curious.
and also it's gonna be a big season for him now with
That's
Cristiano gone. He could be, the leader. Not
He's the
in
vice
terms
captain
of, but yeah, but I mean, you have
on the
Chiellini,
pitch.
Bonucci. Yeah,
Sure.
those are the leaders, of course, like the charismatic
The,
leaders. But he could be the main star. He could be.
the reference point.
Yes, he could be the
See,
star of like the more skillful player and the more
yeah,
um, important player for them going
yeah,
forward. So it's a big, big season for him in terms of growing up, owning up, taking a lot more pressure because it's going to be a lot more pressure because Cristiano took a lot of pressure for his teammates. So when Cristiano left Juventus, I thought about Dybala and I said, this is going to be good for him. This is going to be a
of
great
course.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have a whole year before the World Cup to
And
prepare to be the main guy.
yeah, and let's not forget, 2 or I guess 3 years ago now, before Ronaldo came in, Dybala had a great season.
Yeah, yeah,
He was doing well. Cristiano came in, things happened, different system, different whatever, and he looked sharp in preseason, looked sharp in their first game, and like you said, for him now, he could be their star. He could be the reference point in attack. He has a full season for the World Cup. He has to deliver. He has to deliver. Guru, his starting 11, so Emiliano, Molina, Otamendi, Pasella, or Lucas Martinez Cuarta, and Acuna, Guido De Paul, Buendia, okay, Nicolas Gonzalez, Lautaro, and Messi. I want to see Buendia. I'm interested in seeing him. I saw a lot of him when he was with Norwich. Scored a great goal for Aston Villa. Um, I think he could be what potentially what Ocampos was maybe 2 years ago. A
Hmm.
very good two-way player, very versatile. I want to see the substitutes. I want to see what they could offer.
Yeah, these guys maybe they will benefit from not starting.
Yes.
Obviously, every player wants to start, but I see a scenario where if Argentina start with a pretty much with a team pretty much similar to the Copa America winners, and then open up a bit of an advantage,
Yeah.
then you bring in Emiliano Buendia, Paulo Dybala, they will bring all sorts of problems for a team trailing, giving more room to attack, freeing up some spaces. Maybe they will benefit from not having the pressure of starting and having to unlock the game themselves, especially because they're making their first. Even Dybala, it's not like he had a lot of games or um, or a big role for the national team before. So
No.
maybe he needs to start earning some minutes, winning some chances, and and then fight for a starting role. At the
Yeah.
moment, I
If
think the guys that won the Copa America, maybe we're talking about 11, 13 players that are in or out, depending on injury situation or
Mhm.
tactical decisions. But you have the starting 11 plus two or three options, um,
Yeah.
and the rest are pretty much substitutes at this point, at least in my eyes.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure, and you have guys like Papu Gomez. Yeah, Papu
Hmm.
Gomez comes in. He starts with Paraguay, he starts with Bolivia, scores in both games, and then he never plays again. And then we end up getting the substitutes that we got. So Scaloni is spoiled for choice. The likes of Dybala, like you said, Dybala will be 28 in November. He has only played 29 matches for Argentina.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's not a lot. That's really really not a lot. He has to earn it. Papu Gomez is an excellent substitute, even an excellent starter. He would probably start for most national teams. He's not starting. Buendia, obviously. So all the young guys, like you mentioned, Seba, they could benefit a lot from not starting, just being the substitutes. And sometimes, not. I know this might sound a bit odd, but sometimes just being there, not even playing, but just being around the squad, you could grow and you could learn. And
Of course.
hopefully, this is the case for a lot of them. And hopefully, they get some minutes. Hopefully, they get some minutes.
Hey, you know that I'm old. I already established that. But I think it happens to everybody. It's been a long time since we last played the World Cup qualifiers. It could be 2, 3 months. It's a long time, and then we also had a Copa America in between. Can you
Yes.
remind everybody? Can you refresh us
The
by
table.
bringing up the league table? Yeah, and I would like
Yes.
to see also who's playing who, which kind
Absolutely. Absolutely.
of
So
scenario we will
here,
have.
yeah. So let's bring this up like this. So this is the table right now. Brazil ahead by 6 points. In my opinion, Argentina, and I think, well, we spoke about this when we did the post matches, but Argentina, Argentina drew themselves. I mean, the last two matches was Chile and Colombia. They should have won them. In my opinion, those were points dropped. But
Mhm.
Brazil in first place with 18, Argentina second with 12, Ecuador with 9, Uruguay and Colombia on 8. Obviously, goal difference being the difference there. Paraguay with 7, Chile with 6, Bolivia 5, Venezuela, Peru on 4. So Argentina, as things stand, play ninth place Bolivia, ninth place Venezuela, first place Brazil, eighth place Bolivia. Um, it's not the most difficult of matches, to be honest. Obviously, Brazil the big one there, but this is the table. Seba, do you think we finish first by the 3 games?
Um, Not because no, I don't think so because 6 points difference is a lot.
That's true. Yes,
But we have a good opportunity to at least reduce a little bit the margin
the
that
gap.
that they have. I would need to remember exactly who Brazil are playing this round.
Yes,
They're
yes, I
playing.
will bring that up right now. Whoops,
They're
I
playing
will bring
Chile.
that up.
They're playing Chile tomorrow. Yeah, in Chile.
Uh, let's take a look. So yes, Brazil
They,
play Chile, and yeah, so this is going to be the matches for Thursday.
mhm. Then they host us, and then they go to or they play
Oh,
again
then they
at home.
host Peru.
They host Peru. So
Yeah.
there you go. I think they take 6 points from the other
See,
games.
you think they beat Chile
I
because
think
it's going
so.
to be in
Yeah.
Santiago. I think it's going to be in Santiago, right? It's going to be in Chile.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Chile, I'm not very impressed by Chile these days.
yeah,
Can you show me the standings for Chile? They
yes,
didn't even
absolutely.
they didn't even beat
No,
Bolivia at
they're
home.
seventh.
See what I mean? It's
Yeah. So
they
Chile drew 2-2 versus Colombia, 1-1 versus Bolivia, and 2-0 versus Peru. So yeah, they're not
they
doing
only
too well.
they only beat Peru at home. They couldn't beat Bolivia. I know they're strong. Obviously, they have a couple of recent Copa America wins. They are strong, but I believe they are getting to the end of a golden generation for them.
Yes,
The likes of Marcelo Diaz not playing that much. Um,
Alexis Sanchez always injured.
Alexis
Vidal
Sanchez,
is
yeah, Arturo Vidal, not the kind of motor that he used to have. So
no.
this is why
Medel is the only one.
I'm having some doubts on what Chile can do
Yeah,
against Brazil.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think Brazil will stay at the top after this round of 3 games. We'll be closing the
So
gap. Yeah, I think we'll be closing the
yeah,
gap.
I think we close the gap. I just want to take a look at Ecuador and Uruguay because obviously they're the closest to us and Colombia as well. But let's go with Ecuador. So Ecuador will play. Well, Ecuador is at home to Paraguay, which will not be
Mhm.
easy.
This
Which
one
will
is
not be easy.
this is a very
Yeah.
key fixture for both of them.
Yes.
And then at home against to
Then
Chile, huh?
and then Chile, and then away to Uruguay. So they
They go
play.
away,
Oh,
yeah, they go away to Uruguay, but Uruguay without Suarez and Cavani.
right.
They're gonna have all sorts of issues. They are lucky that they have Bolivia at home in the second round, which, which
Yeah,
it's a game that they should win even without Suarez and Cavani.
but they're away to Peru.
But they go
So
to Peru. Peru bottom of the standings, but I think they're a better team than the table suggests.
absolutely. We saw it at
They've
the
been
Copa America.
unlucky.
They made the semifinals. Maybe possibly could have even made the final,
Mhm,
but no, they were not that bad. They were. I did not expect them to make the semifinals
mhm.
of the Copa.
And they already play Argentina and Brazil when they play at home. They couldn't make they
No,
couldn't make a stronghold of a fortress of their own stadium. They lost to Colombia, which was um, tough to take for
so
them because
yeah,
it was a
but
hammering.
Peru,
But
yeah,
they
beat Peru.
should pick up some points. They should pick up the pace in the next few rounds because they're gonna have more accessible games at home because they already played Argentina, Brazil, Colombia. So they should be getting some
I mean, they
points.
get yeah. After Uruguay, they play Venezuela at home, and then obviously they're away to Brazil. That's going to be the most difficult one for them.
Yeah.
But it's it's. I mean, if we look at the table, oops, I went a little bit too far. But if we look at the table, historically speaking, Ecuador has never really been third place. Uruguay has always been in the top two or even top three. To have them in fourth and potentially even dropping. Um, it's different. We have the teams are getting stronger. I know we always say it, but the teams are definitely getting stronger in South America.
And also, this is being a triple round, being quite unique. There is every chance that the last team in the standings can, you know, climb up the table
Yes.
very, in a big way, because it's only 4 points separating them from playoffs. So
Yes.
they have.
And
There's going to be 9 points at stake for every game. I'm stating the obvious here, but we
yeah.
should focus on that because we're used to just a double round, and not so easy to climb up the standings in one go. But in this case, in a week's time, we can be talking about a very very different standings.
Table. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
momentum is going to be key for this. Like you said, 3 matches in 1 week. If Argentina could hit the ground running and get that win versus Venezuela, keep riding that high, go up against Brazil, and then obviously at home to Bolivia. So I think, or I hope, worst case scenario, Argentina finished with at least 6 points, and so I'm talking really worst case scenario. Uh, they can't. I cannot see them. I cannot see them losing to Venezuela. I truly can't. I don't see them losing to Venezuela. I don't see them losing to Bolivia. Not this time. Not at home. Brazil's the most, on paper anyways, the most difficult one. But this is worst case 6 points.
hey,
Worst case.
it's the most difficult for them as well. So let's
Absolutely,
go
absolutely.
for it.
Yeah. John
John in
from Malaysia.
Malaysia. Hola, amigo.
So John, draw against Brazil, 3 points from the other 2 games. That's all I'm asking. Anything more is a bonus. I would accept that. If you ask me to sign that right now, I would accept it, but I'm kind of out. Even though Argentina won, I still want blood. I still want the
No,
win versus Brazil.
I will revert that. I will say I win against Brazil, and I can give you 2 draws in the other two
You know what?
games.
Win against Brazil. Yeah, and then we'll do that. Let's
Yeah.
and this
Um,
is sorry, go ahead,
no,
Seba.
I was going to say that because I'm looking at, if you see me looking that way, because I'm curious about the comments that keep
No
coming up.
problem.
There's a lot of comments about Nico Gonzalez. We haven't mentioned him. Angel Correa. So maybe we can,
Yes.
touch base. We mentioned players getting transferred to another team. Nico was a big example, going from Germany to Fiorentina, having a big impact right away. I think for Nico to be playing in Serie A will be fantastic for his career, for his involvement in the national team. He's got a he's got a teammate as well for the national team there. If Pesela, no,
Lucas
Pesela
Martinez
left.
Cuarta. Well,
Lucas Martinez Cuarta,
Martinez Cuarta.
but Pesela went, right. He went
Yes,
to Betis.
Parcella's back to Betis and with Guido
Yeah,
Rodriguez.
right. But playing there in Serie A, a lot of players from the national team are playing there, and this guy, I'm impressed with the speed that he has. He's like world class, elite speed, which is something that it's really useful in these days, in the modern game. And he just needs to be a little bit less accident prone. Take it easy.
And
Don't
sharper
go
in front of
head
goal.
first. Yeah, yeah, a little sharper in front of goal. But he has a fantastic future ahead of him and present.
Yeah.
And Angel Correa, the other one that was being mentioned
Pichichi.
a lot in the comments, he can stop scoring. I mean, he's scoring more than Suarez for Atletico.
Yeah.
He scored the winning title, the
The goal that won them the league.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then he started scoring this season for fun. I still see him as a substitute for Argentina,
Yes.
but what an introduction that Scaloni can make, sending him on anytime, to begin the second
Yeah.
half, midway through the second half. He's fantastic talent. I really like him.
He's tricky. He's a very good dribbler. Obviously, he knows how to score. He has pace. He's not a slow player at all, and he has that experience. He won La Liga. Obviously, won the Copa America. He's a very good weapon to have. He's a very, very good substitute, and he's
Mhm.
very versatile. He could play on the wing,
Yeah,
or he could play really in the middle. And Simeone's kind of played them everywhere.
yeah. I was going to mention Simeone. He made him a lot better player than he was, because
Yeah,
I saw him making his debut for San Lorenzo, scoring important goals, quality goals. Um, but he's a more complete player now. He can
of
do
course.
a lot of things that he previously couldn't. Play in different positions, play different roles, and this is something that I would like to link to another player that is now going to play under Simeone, and that's Rodrigo De Paul. He hasn't started every game. He hasn't played 90 minutes every game. Maybe Simeone is taking him slowly because it's just coming back from Copa America. Maybe he needs to adjust to life in Spain and in a new club. But I think if we are impressed with De Paul, Simeone will make him even better. That's
Yes.
my how you call it, my gut feeling.
Pre-
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no club or no coach that suits Rodrigo De Paul better than Atletico. There's no club in the world right now that suits him. No club and no coach. Simeone, I mean, he transformed Correa. Look what he's rejuvenated Suarez. Every player that plays under him is fit. They're positioning, very intelligent. They always give it all on the pitch. There, it's DePaul. It's literally DePaul has five lungs. Gives it his all on the pitch in every match. Uh, I'm very very
Five
excited for
lungs
this
and a
season.
diaper. We learned today he has
Yes,
five lungs
apparently,
and a diaper and no
and a
socks.
diaper. No, no, just the Gucci shoes.
Yeah.
It's yeah, another one. I mean, Joaquin Correa.
Hmm.
We mentioned him earlier, but he was scoring on and off for Lazio. Scored an important goal for Argentina versus Bolivia in the qualifiers, which won the match. Got a couple of minutes in the Copa America with Inter, scored two goals, and he could, if he could create that partnership, form that partnership with Lautaro, that's another option. That's another
Yeah.
weapon for Scaloni. And substitutes are key, especially in tournaments. Especially
Yeah.
in tournaments.
I'm telling you what, we mentioned Montiel joining Sevilla with
Yeah.
Huevo, Acuna, and Papu Gomez. I forgot to mention Eric Lamela, who's also
Yes.
there in Sevilla for this season. Already had a big impact. One
Pichichi.
game coming as a sub, yeah, Pichichi, scoring a couple of important goals, a winning goal against who it was, Getafe.
Yeah.
So these players that we've been mentioning, even from before, De Paul, um, well, um, Correa, the two Correas, Papu Gomez,
Yes.
there's an abundance there, which makes it difficult for players like Lamela because Lamela, he's got a very valid, strong case for being called up.
Absolutely.
But I mean, you have to choose. Sometimes you have to choose, and so far the players that have been called up have all been responding. It's not a case that there was a drop in performance levels for any of these players that play in the same position that Lamela could be playing. Even we saw it with Ocampos, another player for Sevilla,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
he used to be playing for the national team. He started in a World Cup qualifier. I think he did well, but then all of a sudden he was removed, not called up again. So it's the national team of Argentina. It's not easy to get into that team. There's no room for everybody.
You
So
can't be complacent.
no, and also you can accommodate everybody. So
Yeah.
some players, some quality players, will be left out, no doubt. It's always been the
Yes.
case.
And it's a curse and a blessing, right? It's a
Yeah,
curse and a blessing. I mean, you look at the likes of someone like Pablo Aymar, who can't even, or back then obviously couldn't even be a starter because I mean Riquelme and Veron and everyone.
yeah,
It's crazy, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I mean, regarding Lamela, I agree with the BRM. He says I think Lamela is a really good player, but because of his severe prone to injury, it's a major problem. And that's going to be the big issue for him this season. If Lamela could stay fit,
yeah,
obviously he'll be getting some minutes. But if he could stay fit and he's playing with Montiel and Acuna and Papu Gomez and Ocampos, then I think, and obviously if he continues his good form, then I think yes, he could make it to the World Cup next year. But that's the big question. That's always been the issue with Lamela. It's injuries. He plays
yeah,
solid for 5 matches and then he's out for 5 months.
yeah.
It's going to be an issue for him. It's going to be an issue, but like you said, that's another option.
Hmm. Yeah, it's. I got to think about one thing you mentioned just now, the abundance of riches, and the fact that there's no place for everybody. And I thought about the times back in the days when Diego played, because that was a generation of pure talented number 10, and these guys would have made a career that would have been glorious. But obviously, there was Maradona in front of them. Um, there were no room for them. There was no room for them. But you have Norberto Alonso playing for River, Ricardo Boccini playing for Independiente. Won 4 Copa Libertadores. He beat Juventus in the Intercontinental Cup. He went to Mexico '86, but only played a couple of minutes against Belgium. But you look at the career that he had, the impact that he had in terms of the national league. This is Argentine football. He never went to play
Yeah.
for any club in Europe, so he's not very well known outside of Argentina. Alejandro Savella was another number 10 that was a
Yeah.
very quality, very quality player, but Diego was ahead of them. So you saw a lot of careers that couldn't come to fruition because, and they were a lot better than other players that were in the national team. But you needed a fullback, you needed a holding midfielder, you needed and these guys that play with the number 10 were better, but had no place in the team. So sorry for going
No,
uh,
no, no, no.
completely off topic and going back
At,
down memory lane, but it just
at
you just
all.
brought the memories. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, at all. If you go back, even just, I mean, I'll go back, let's say around 2000, and then early to mid 2000s, let's say the strikers. And I'm talking after Batistuta.
Yeah.
You had obviously Crespo, Saviola, Tevez, Figueroa, Luciano Figueroa, who
Diego
was in the
Milito,
Confederations Cup, Diego
Lisandro
Milito,
Lopez.
Lisandro Lopez, and only Diego Milito played in the World Cup in 2010. Obviously Crespo,
Martín
Saviola only
Palermo.
played in Saviola, Palermo. So these are guys that, I mean, Palermo's a legend, only played in one World Cup.
Yeah.
Saviola only one World Cup. Lisandro Lopez 0. Diego Milito only in one. And these are guys that were scoring goals, and they were scoring goals for big, big clubs. Lisandro Lopez did it, I mean, for Lyon. Diego Milito, we don't even, Inter Milan. Just that in and of itself, I won't even talk about Genoa or any other club. It's the same thing now. Obviously, we had it with the number 10s even before then. And now we're starting to get that again. And I felt like for a while it wasn't happening. And I'm very, very happy that it's happening again. Because at one point, it was the strikers. And now you get the likes of Paulo Dybala, who's barely able to get into the team. Mauro Icardi, not in the team. It's a good situation to have. A couple of
Yeah.
names being thrown around. I mean, Cambiaso,
Julio
it's just
Cruz.
only in 2000. Julio Cruz, another one.
Guru Sevilla saying Julio Cruz. Julio
Julio
Cruz
Cruz.
wasn't my favorite, but he was scoring for fun for Inter, and he
Yeah.
was the kind of a
It's,
tall guy that you
uh,
need for.
Javier Zanetti,
Zanetti played fewer World
98 and
Cups than he
2002.
should have been. Yeah, he should
Yeah.
have played more World Cups. He should have. He was a legend, but I don't know why he wasn't selected by Peckerman or Diego for 2006, 2010.
I mean,
He was among the best 4 or
yeah.
5 right backs in the world throughout his career.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Uh,
uh,
it's
these things
look,
happen. Yeah.
no, absolutely. These things happen, but now we're getting the players that are that are left out. I'm seeing a couple of, I mean, Saviola as well. So question. Okay, so let's play hypothetically speaking, because this is a question, and I'm going to get to it just now. So who should be our second goalkeeper? Now, I ask this, or the reason I'm bringing this up as well, is because what happens if, and you mentioned it, what happens if after the two matches, Emiliano Martinez and all the Premier League boys say, okay, thank you, we got the 6 points, or we got whatever it was. You guys could take care of it. You guys could take care of Bolivia without us. Now, Emiliano Martinez aside, Seba, who would be your second choice goalkeeper? Not
I
who,
will.
not
Mhm.
not who would Scaloni pick, but who would you pick?
There's no secret. I really like Juan Musso, but I think Armani should be given the nod. He won the Copa Libertadores twice with two different clubs. He has a lot of he has a big presence. He's not going through the best level of performances lately, but the quality he has, the presence he has, He should be he for this round of fixtures.
Mhm.
If Dibu Martinez goes back to the Premier League before we play Bolivia, um, I will give him the nod. He's playing every day in this same stadium, which is
Yeah.
could be an advantage for him over Muso. But in the long run, I'm leaning more towards Muso. Again, another player that changed, got transferred, stayed
Yeah.
in the same league, but he's gonna play Champions League. I will give him this season will be huge for Muso to go up in the pecking order, become the second goalkeeper regularly. But in the shortest run for this week,
Yeah.
I will give the nod to Armani.
To Armani. Okay, that
Mhm.
that makes sense.
For
That
this
makes
one. Yeah.
sense.
In the long run, no. Diego Martinez as the first, Juan Musso as the second. That would be my
Right.
choice.
Okay. And there was a question here. I brought it up. This is a question for you, Seba. I mean, maybe if you could shed some light. I don't know if it has anything to do with maybe it was Menotti or whoever was the coach, but any answer?
Yeah, the national team, as we know it, got it was a before and after the build up to the 1978 World Cup because up until then it wasn't very organized. It wasn't very. Sometimes it wasn't taking that seriously. And I think Bianchi was a bit of a victim of going against the current at that time because when he went to Europe, the national team was formed more by local league players. So nobody cared about what he was doing for PSG. It wasn't the same as today. Today, if you don't play in Europe, it's kind of you need a bit of a validation. The exception being if you play for Boca or River, that the media will just protect you from whatever the criticism is, and you will get to go to a World Cup starting for Boca or River. It doesn't matter. But back in the day, before Menotti organized the national team, got serious about it, got a training camp, got full staff to work with the national team and prepare for big tournaments. Bianchi was there. Bianchi was, I think, he was a victim of that era and how things worked in that era, because after that it changed a little bit. And then if you see gradually, if you check this is a good exercise to do. If you check the squad for
Mhm.
Argentina in every World Cup
Yeah.
and check where the players were playing their trade, um, you will see that up until Mexico 86, Spain 82, pretty much like around that time, most of the players were playing in the local league, and the exceptions were a couple of players that were in Europe. Um, but after that,
Yeah.
it was all Europe. It was all Europe, and a
Uh,
couple of exceptions. Maybe a keeper playing in Argentina, going there as a third choice, but it changed. The geographics changed, and I think that was what happened with Bianchi. He was a bit of a pioneer going to Europe around that time. What did you bring up?
this is 1982.
There you go. See
Three
where
players
everybody were
in
playing. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, Maradona
only
obviously was still with Boca, just yeah, right before going to Barcelona.
and if you look at it, only two World Cup winners from '78 were called up.
Kempes.
I mean, two. Sorry, let me rephrase it. Three players called up from Europe. Two of them were World Cup winners 4 years before, and that's the reason why they kept
Yeah,
their
Bertoni
their
and Zidane.
places. Yeah, the rest, as you can see, it was a pretty strong league, the national league here in Argentina, because teams got to keep talent like Maradona, Ramon Diaz, check Waldo Filiol, already a World Cup winner, but still playing for
Yeah,
River 4 years later. So there you go. And then you start to see a few of them that were going
yeah.
to become champions in '86. There you go.
This was, I mean, this was 86. You have
You see a lot of
one, two,
players from
three,
the local
four,
league.
five, six. Yeah, you have 6 in Europe and one in Mexico.
Hmm.
So you went from 3 to 7, and then I think 1990 was probably the one where we
Go for
got,
it. I want to
I
see
think,
it now. You got me curious now. Go for it. There you go.
so 19. This was 1990.
There you go. So you see the balance, how it changed.
Yeah,
Um, it was, you know,
9, 10.
the exception was players playing their trade, and also check the ages, because Larticochea was 30, 31, Justi was 33, so they were coming back from Europe after their long careers there,
Yeah,
and playing in the local league. You see Juan Simon, a defender for Boca, 30 years old. This is what happened with Bianchi when he was playing in Europe. All the players in the national team were being selected from Argentina.
yeah.
That's one of the reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was very interesting. That was a very, very good
Yeah.
question, John.
Yeah.
We went from one thing all the way to another. And there was a question I just wanted to get to earlier. I mean, as we were talking about goalkeepers, so Gorab asked, what happened to Walter Benitez? Walter Benitez playing very, very well for Nice in France. Uh, can't even get close to the national team. Not that he doesn't deserve it, absolutely deserves it, but he's kind of been flying, under the radar. So he's one that's, no. Funky Buddha asks, Cuarta or Licha to partner Pasella against Venezuela? I mean, I think it would be more Otamendi who's going to partner Otamendi. I think it would be more Pasella. Seba, would you go with Pasella or would you go with maybe like
Yeah,
Lisandro
yeah. For
Martinez
this
or
one, yeah, yeah. For this one, I will be happy with any of them. I like them all. I don't want
yeah?
to be, I don't want to be dismissive of a question, but I honestly will go with any of those. I personally, I love center backs that are very technical, that have an
Mhm.
ability on the ball. I like Lisandro Martinez a
Yeah,
little bit
me
better,
too.
and I would like him to start getting some more minutes. But as I said, I will be happy with any of those because
Yeah,
Petzela and Martinez Cuarta will give you more of a physical presence, which could come handy in Venezuela. Um, and
yeah.
maybe
That's
you don't need to a player like Lisandro for this particular game. Maybe you can bring it for Bolivia. Uh,
yeah.
could be a
Save it.
better fixture for him. Yep.
Save it for the celebrations in the third match at home. And mark my words, or remember this: Julian Alvarez will play versus Bolivia. It's his
I
home
like him.
stadium.
Yeah, I like him.
It's
He's
his home stadium.
score a goal from outside the box. He has a very decent right foot. I like him. I like
Yes,
him.
he's not bad. He is not bad. Um, I mean, another one. So we're kind of getting a bit off topic, maybe a little bit for the future, but Luca Romero, the 16, I think he's still 16 or maybe just turned 17, of Lazio, previously of Mallorca in Spain. He's done well. I mean, if reports are to be believed, one of the reasons why Lazio had to offload Joaquin Correa, was because of the limit of, I think, foreign players that they could have or something, and they wanted to keep Luca Romero. So he's definitely one for the future. Maybe a little bit too early just yet. And Thiago Almada, Seba, this is another name that's been popping up
Yeah, these two are really good.
often.
Almada and
Yeah.
Velasco. The thing is, I would be cautious about the level of performances any player is showing right now in Argentina, because the league, the form, the league, the quality of the league, it's so bad that it could deceive players. But no
Mhm.
doubt, these two have a lot of quality. Velasco, I think he needs more experience, more playing
More
time.
exposure. Yeah.
It's not easy to play for Independiente. There's a lot of pressure all the time. They are playing under a manager that is very defensive minded. If they win, it's 1-0. Well, there was an exception recently. They won like 3-0, but
3.
it was a pretty even game until the opposition got reduced to 10 men. But without going off topic, this guy has some serious skill and is soon going to be playing abroad. But no Chancalay, please. No, Chancalay. Uh, he plays for my team in Argentina,
That's why
Racing.
I brought him up. That's why I brought him
I
up.
don't like him. No, I don't like him. I don't like him. He's got a decent shot. That's it. That's it. It's not
Yeah,
national team quality. I would be very, very alarmed, surprised, and disgusted if he gets to be called up. And I'm saying this of a Racing player. I have nothing against the guy. He tries hard, but his decision making is pretty poor.
yeah,
He's not showing up in big games, scoring for fun against lesser opposition, but it's not national team material. I'm sorry.
no.
I'm
Okay.
sorry to say.
Uh,
And I see him 90 minutes. I mean, this is the one I can say.
for sure.
I see him every minute. So
Yeah,
and Velasco on the other hand plays for my rivals for
Independiente.
Independiente, and I have all the time in the world for this kid. It's very, very special. I think it's gonna have a well. Obviously, it depends on the type of career that he has. He has to fall into the right um, environment, the right club, the right manager. But still early, still young. Lot of talent. And Thiago Almada, even better. I think he's even better
Yeah,
than Velasco.
yeah.
Facundo
I mean,
Farias, I see him being in the comments.
there you go.
18 years old, playing for Colón.
Yeah,
This guy, not not national team quality yet or standard, but he's only 18. He should be going to the next Youth World Cup if it happens. I don't know
yeah.
what's going to happen because CONMEBOL has called off every
Every
youth
youth tournament, youth, and I
competition.
think women's tournament as well, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it's bad. It's bad due to the pandemic, but
It's, yeah,
there's a lot of time for some of these prospects. Yeah.
yeah. I saw one about Gaich, Adolfo Gaich. He's now playing with Huesca in the second division in Spain. His move to Russia, just like every other Argentine, kind of killed or not killed, but maybe slowed down his career. Maybe Russia has been historically better for Brazilian players than Argentine players,
hmm
but no, he's playing in the
He,
second division right now.
he's too raw at the moment.
Yeah,
I like the size that he has. I like his mentality,
hmm
his aerial game. He
he's a
went to
big player.
Benevento. Yeah, he did well. He did reasonably well for Benevento. They
Yeah,
got relegated. He scored the winner against
he won the
Juventus
two
in a very
goals.
famous game.
Yeah,
But going to the second division in Spain in a market like this, it tells you a lot about his level of
of play.
quality. Yeah, he should
Yeah,
he should be going to a different type of league or team. Senesi is
yeah,
being mentioned in the comments.
yeah. Marcos
I
Senesi.
love him. I
If I'm
love
not
him.
mistaken, he's out injured right now, though. If I'm not mistaken, for Feyenoord.
All right, I wouldn't know. I sorry, you
Yeah.
got me. You caught me off guard. But
No, no,
but
no. But he got injured right before the break,
all
if I'm
right,
not
all right.
mistaken. Yeah.
But he's
Um,
a quality player. I like him. I like him a lot.
yeah.
Um,
He's he's good. I mean, there was a question about, I mean, Leo Balerdi as well of Marseille. He's
mhm,
been in and out of the Argentina team. I think his last match was versus Ecuador. I think in 2000,
mhm,
I want to say 19 in the friendly match. I think it was a 6-1 win or 6-0 win.
mhm.
Balerdi, that was his last shot. Um, and who else was there? Leo Balerdi. And there you go. So yeah, so Guru kind of confirmed it. He said he did not play. Feyenoord lost. There you go. So if I'm not mistaken, yeah, he was or he is injured rather for Feyenoord, Senesi. Um, there you go. So another question: what is the problem playing Lisandro as a center back? I don't think there is a problem. I think it's could be a solution at least for the long term. I just think he's in the pecking order. I mean, we saw it at the Copa America. He was not always preferred. He played in one match versus Bolivia, um, and after that, that was kind of that was kind of it. That was really, really kind of it.
Mhm.
Um, who else? Trying to see if there are any other names.
This is a funny one. A name that got mentioned by Smita Holader at 12:33. If you can bring it
Let's see if I
up,
can, let's see if I can bring it up.
because this is a name that I heard in the past. Maybe the majority haven't heard it. Claudio Gabriel Niancufil. It's not with an N, it's the ñ, the letter that is unique.
Yes,
It's unique to
or
Spanish,
like a
right? It's
cuña, like a cuña.
like a cuña, yeah, like the same way. Well, so this guy is called Claudio Gabriel Niancufil. Thing is, he was born in 2005. So we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but uh, obviously he's one of the many new Messis, right? And because he was born in the city of San Carlos de Bariloche, which is in the Patagonia in the south, where it's cold in the winter, he's called the Messi of the snow. So the new Messi of the snow, I think it's too early to sanction anything about him. Let's the kid enjoy
Slightly.
his game. Yeah, he was under the radar. He was in the playing for Racing or had a trial for Racing, which is a big club in Argentina. But I wouldn't know the exact whereabouts or what is going on with him and his career. But just wanted to bring it up because he's the Messi of the snow, and maybe in the future we can refer to that preview against Venezuela where we mentioned
Yeah.
Yankofil for the first time. He's very young at the moment, but obviously he's tiny, like Messi. But
It's
who
the ball.
knows? Who knows? That's all I can tell you, Smita. I'm sorry, sorry, sorry if I can tell you anything else
that's
about it.
that's more information than I had, Seba. So thank you for that.
Perfect.
Jose Palomino as well. That's another one, obviously in Italy. He's done, from what I've seen, anyways, and especially from what I've heard, he's done pretty well. But as odd as it is, I'm not gonna say we have a lot of center backs to choose from, but we have a lot of center backs to choose from. I mean, look,
Yeah,
Otamendi, if we're looking kind of short term but long term, let's say up until the World Cup, Otamendi is going to be there. So that's kind of one spot. Christian Romero, that's another one. Then you have Lisandro Martinez, who's not able to crack the starting 11. Pesela is substitute. Martinez Cuarta, substitute. And then you have Senesi, who's not in the squad. Palomino as well. So there are a lot of center
yeah.
backs.
This guy Medina playing in France as well. It
Yes,
could
yes,
be a good season for him. A
as well,
very important year and a half ahead of
as
the
well.
of the World Cup because he's a very nice player who can score coming from the back. I really like him. He's a complete player in my opinion. So he's another one that
Yeah,
could be making an appearance. Facundo Medina, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, we
There's
went for an hour and a half, and it went
Yeah,
by.
there's
Just
one
yeah,
more thing maybe we can get to
yeah.
it that we completely glossed over. Funky Buddha writes, we have 6, 7 regular players on yellow cards. Should we risk our main players against Venezuela? I actually have the list here,
All right.
so I'm gonna take out the list here and we'll
I
um,
you know what I would tell you if I was Scaloni, just don't go
yeah.
for any stupid tackle or argument with the referee, and then get
Yeah,
save that for Brazil, get booked against Brazil, and skip the game against Bolivia.
Bolivia.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's I mean Montiel, Pesela, Otamendi, Martinez Cuarta, Tagliafico, De Paul, Palacios, Dominguez, Lo Celso, Nicolas Gonzalez, and Lautaro Martinez. The one that really scares me is De Paul,
mm,
because missing him against Brazil would be a big miss in my opinion. Otamendi as well and Lautaro, because I don't think we have any other striker, not Joaquin Correa or anyone else you want to throw in there, that has the work rate that Lautaro has. Uh, and Otamendi, if Romero's back or when Romero's back, him and Otamendi, the center back pairing, could be
mhm,
huge versus Brazil.
mhm. You mentioned the ball, Brazil. Every now and then, I stop for a second what I'm doing, and maybe I'm working, maybe I'm walking down the road, and I think about the game that Rodrigo De Paul played in the Maracanã in the Copa America final, and there's a smile in my face. And I'm telling you, it's not like
Yeah.
it's this some kind of disorder or anything like that, but it brings me happiness. And sometimes I think about it and I said, what a complete performance! That was the dream,
Wow.
the dream game, the dream performance in the dream stadium at the right moment. It
Everything.
was it was too much.
Everything.
I tell you, I'm telling you. Sometimes I reminisce about it, and I go like this. Oh,
It was a. It
yeah,
was. I mean, everyone. We all spoke about it, and we spoke about it after when we did the live chat. It's on YouTube if you guys missed it. Yes, aside from Di Maria's, scoring the goal, obviously that won the Copa America. De Paul was the man of the match. I mean,
not only
and you
that,
could
to
make an
me,
argument for Montiel as well and others.
but not only that, for me, if you take Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi away for a moment, name me a better performance in a game from any Argentina player. Maybe we can agree on a
In a
couple.
big game.
In whatever game, because it's
I mean, the one that comes to mind, maybe Mascherano versus the Netherlands.
fair goal. I will see your
Maybe.
Mascherano versus the Netherlands and race you Riquelme against Brazil in
Serbia.
the World Cup qualifiers. Yeah, in Buenos
Yeah.
Aires.
Yeah.
That goal. But there you go. We will probably count up to 5, no more than that.
Yeah.
Ortega against England in '98. Riquelme versus Brazil,
That wasn't, but and it's funny actually mentioning because I watched that match about less than a year ago. Less than a year ago, I was on a flight and I watched Argentina versus England, and I'm like, wow. I thought Ortega, because he was playing great that tournament up until the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, what a performance! What this, and now you're mentioning it. I'm like, yeah, Ortega was great, but there was something about De Paul. I don't know if because this was, and I want to know what everyone thinks, not just Seba. I really want to know what everyone
bring
here
examples. Messi had trick against Ecuador. Yeah, but Messi. Let's take away Messi. Oh, of course, Messi has like
no,
5, 10. Maradona, of course.
No, I'm making an argument as to why De Paul, for me, it is the biggest one, more than Mascherano, more than Riquelme. And I want to know what everyone here thinks. But if we look historically speaking, the biggest wins for Argentina, the 1978 World Cup final, 1986 World Cup final. Argentina's won 15 Copa Americas. One of them was in July.
Mm-hmm.
But having that 28-year gap, that match, that win versus Brazil, in my opinion, is in the top 3 most important matches that Argentina has won. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, in the modern era, no doubt.
The modern era, of course.
Yeah.
I'm talking modern era.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm thinking, Copa America '91, Batistuta had a couple of huge games. Simeone in the final of Copa America '93. There's a couple of good shouts there.
There's a good one.
Ashala
against Ivory Coast. Possibly,
but it wasn't as dominant. No.
So this one, I know why you're saying this, and I agree, and I know Di Maria scored the winner. Di Maria, depending on who you ask, because some people will say that Di Maria was great in that game, and others will say he wasn't. Di Maria, I think, got himself into 10 or 11 goal-scoring opportunities. He messed them all up, except for that one.
Because there was a stat that stuck with me for that game. I think he took something about 11 or 14 block shots. He was shooting with a marker on top of him, and so to me, he had 113 minutes to forget, and one moment where he was at the end of the Messi pass. That's it, goal. Yeah. But not even close to how De Paul played against Brazil in the Maracanã.
I would mention. I see this one. I would say as an honorable mention because I thought even the goal aside, Higuaín I thought played very very well against Belgium. He even had that one run in the second half where he picked up the ball at the halfway line, ran across, had the caño, the little nutmeg, and his effort hit the crossbar, which could have made it 2-0. Honorable mention, I'll go with Higuaín versus Belgium. This one, I would say just merely for the goal. Just for the goal.
What a moment.
What a moment. Romero as well. See,
Yeah,
Romero had in 2014 the penalties. He made some very, very big saves versus Iran in the second match of the group stages. Um, he was good. Honorable mention, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. But as
John,
dominant, do you guys think as dominant as De Paul was? Look at this.
no,
I like this one, especially because
Diego
it was
Quintana.
from it was from the time that I had hair, and I could have played in that World Cup because it was an under 20 and I was 20. Yeah, I could have
There
played.
you go.
But yeah, that was a very good World Cup.
That was good.
Emiliano Martinez against Colombia, the penalties. Yeah, definitely,
The
definitely.
penalties. That's
Yeah, well, no, 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 no. Let's not lower the price of what De Paul did in the Maracanã. I guess we're all
no,
in
no, no.
agreement. I think these are all very good shouts. Um, but it was just to put it in
It
perspective.
was
What he did was
It was, I mean, you,
masterclass.
you mentioned it. It was the opponent, it was the venue, it was the match. It was 28 years without a trophy. It was everything. It was everything.
Yeah,
And I mean, you mentioned Batistuta 91 and 93. And I mean, who doesn't love Batistuta? Everyone loves Batistuta. But part of it maybe is sentimental as well because, I mean, Argentina won the Copa America 91. 86 World Cup, there was that 5 year gap where Argentina was dominating, So maybe we didn't feel it as much, but maybe that 28-year gap and against Brazil at the Maracanã after the finals lost in 2014 and everything. It's
that assist then setting Messi one on one with the keeper with that pass that
yeah,
nobody
yeah,
saw, and
yeah.
Messi, you know, I think. I think I think I mentioned this back then. I think Messi missed that great opportunity because he is too good. Because if he was any other player, he would have shot and scored. But he knows he's very good. He knows he's very talented. He knows he could have done this. So he tried to,
Dribble.
dribble the keeper. The keeper was going like, when you try to stop,
Ederson was out of it.
you try to stop the bus and it's full and it
Yeah,
goes by. Well, the keeper would have gone that way just as easily, but then he couldn't. He couldn't set foot on the ground and couldn't finish the move. But he missed it because he's great. He didn't miss it because he doesn't know how to
no.
finish,
I'm,
obviously. And then the
I,
ball
I'm,
also had a run between the defense, and Ederson did very well to stop him. But
that was,
oh my god, that was
he,
fantastic.
he was good. He was helping out at right back. He was helping out Montiel. He was dropping back, playing defensive midfielder. He was attacking midfielder. Obviously, the assist and everything. He
Complete,
was he was
complete.
everywhere. He was everywhere. Maybe one last shout. Maybe
Oh, love it, love it. That game we didn't see much of the ball. I think the only time we had the
no.
ball was when Kanisha scored. So you can
The
say he scored with in the 100% of the chances that we had.
yes, yes.
Uh,
John writes, it's hard to put into context just how deep this Copa America win is, considering the generation of Argentine players between 1993 to 2020 had so many great names, and that's true. Because if you compare, and I obviously no disrespect to any of these guys, they're legends. They're Copa America winners after 28 years. They're legends.
yeah,
But if you compare just names, if you take this squad and compare it to 2002 or 2006 or 1998 on paper, the
yeah,
other squads are much better.
yeah.
And they were not able to win a Copa America. We're not able to win a World Cup.
But
It was
at the same time, they
misleading.
were better than 86. 86, it was, and we'll go back to what we said at the start. For those who just joined, we were talking about the team spirit, how great it is to
Yes,
see that the players are committed and enjoying their time in the national team. When we won the World Cup in '86, it wasn't. We didn't have the best players. I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about the Argentina players. We didn't have the best
players available.
there. No, because Filiol was left out. Ramon Diaz was left out. There were a couple others. Pasarela wasn't there.
Mascherano was
He
injured.
was
Yeah,
he got a stomach bug, but there are some rumors about him and Maradona not getting along. Pasarela wanting to be the captain, but Bilardo sticking to Diego, and that was like the end of the deal breaker for them. But you went to the World Cup not with the best players, but with the players that got along and could play a role for the team and could, you know, do whatever it took for the main guy to shine and to win. That was what happened, and I see a lot of similarities in that sense, because it's not so much about the quality itself. It's about the team spirit. It's about everybody knowing what they have to do and playing for the cause and doing whatever it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it was similar. I thought it was similar in 2014.
Yeah.
I think everyone will look at 2014. Yes, it was a great attack. But if you look at the midfield, or if you look at, the back line, there was no Ashala. I mean, Garay was great, but he wasn't Ashala. It wasn't a Samuel. There was no Zanetti. I love Zapaleta, but you can't compare him to Zanetti. Midfield, you didn't have, a Riquelme or even a Varane or whatever. It was essentially Mascherano, and then you had Biglia, who stepped it up because Gago was injured. It was different, yet they made the final. Why? Because they were friends. This was a group of generation that played together in the under 20s in the Olympics, and they made it so far. And this is the same thing. And this could only get better.
Yeah. And on that note, the invitation for tomorrow after the game, we're gonna do this.
Yes.
We're gonna come with the reactions.
Yes, we will be here just as we were during the Copa America. We're gonna be here after the match. I don't know if it's gonna be right after the match or maybe in 20, 30 minutes, but it'll be shortly after the match, after Argentina versus Venezuela. We're going to talk our player of the match, our top three, hopefully our favorite Argentina goal, and everything. Yeah. We're going to talk about it all. So yes, thank you for that, Seba. Absolutely.
No problem. Yeah, we'll be here. I hope you all join us from every corner of the world. As always, we are humbled whenever we see where you guys are. Thank you for being with us for almost 2 hours. I really enjoyed it. It went by. It flew by. So yeah, tomorrow we'll meet again after the game, and then we'll have a pretty busy schedule. We'll be here for Argentina, Brazil, of course. We have to make the most of this triple round. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, there's going to be a lot of stuff, a lot of Roy, a lot of Seba, a lot of you guys, hopefully. And like Seba, like you said, everywhere from all around the world. We started this, if you guys go back to the start of this very video, it was Canada, Argentina, Australia,
Texas,
United States. United States. And there was one, I believe it was Bangladesh or India, or Nepal, Nepal.
Now we have Malaysia, Indonesia, Canada, India,
everywhere.
Fantastic.
So so we're gonna be here tomorrow. We're gonna be here tomorrow after the match. Thank you everybody for joining. Once more, Reno, Nevada. There you go, United States.
Bangladesh. We couldn't be missing Bangladesh.
No,
Bangladesh has to be present. Yeah.
Yes, JM, I think that's Jamaica, if I'm not mistaken, Nigeria, everywhere. So thank you everybody for joining. My name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. This is Sebastian Garcia, the living legend himself, and we're going to be here tomorrow after Argentina versus Venezuela. Take care, everybody, and here's hoping for an Argentina win. Good night, good morning.